The burner account. A uniquely modern niche of sports. Burner account is a newer term that literally didn't and couldn't exist just a couple decades ago. But in our modern age of who knows what the hell is going on, burner account is a literal dictionary defined phrase. I could have opened this video like a bad best man speech if I wanted to.
Webster's dictionary defines
Burner account?
as
I actually like to wonder what a pre-social media burner account was, or what the closest thing would be. I imagine an athlete in the 80s calling into a radio show anonymously and defending himself, maybe with a voice modifier on or something. But today it's much more clear cut, and when an athlete is exposed in the act of using a burner account, it's pretty comical. So let's take a look at some stories, four specifically, of these guys getting caught red-handed. When you think about it, having a burner account as a pro athlete shouldn't be something that's very hard to hide. There's so much out there. As long as you do the bare minimum to disguise yourself, no one should be able to figure it out. But although it's not 100% proven, Carr has a pretty strong case against him and may have even clapped back once he was caught. This all went down in the off-season of 2020, and it was made possible from some likely unhealthy levels of internet sleuthing. The Raiders were fresh off a 9-7 season, which saw them miss the playoffs for the third year in a row. Raiders fans, per usual, were unhappy people, but it was a Chiefs fan who found a Twitter account by the inconspicuous name of Jace Frost. Alright, what's the issue then? Well, Jace Frost tweeted and replied about mainly two things: Carr and Fresno State University. If one of those confuses you, Carr went to college and played quarterback at Fresno State. Unfortunately, the account was taken down, but a plethora of tweets were screenshotted and saved, and I'll read a couple of my favorites, assuming they are from the perspective of Carr. Replying to a guy calling him a checkdown artist. Aw, people that don't watch football. To the idea of Marcus Mariota taking over as the Raiders quarterback. Lol at Mariota starting. Carr haters are confused right now. And my favorite, Carr defending Carr and shitting on his own teammates. Second in the NFL in completion percentage, 8th in QBR, all with the worst supporting cast in the NFL. God, I hope it's Carr. Now, this random Chiefs fan discovered this and posted his theory on August 4th that this dubious account might be run by Carr. Quickly, a couple small news stations ran with it and posted some articles about it, mostly the very next day on August 5th. And by checking the Wayback Machine, we can see that this account was permanently deleted, or at least privated, exactly on August 5th, 2020. The day of the blowback, the account deactivates itself, but that's not all. The account reached out to the Chiefs fan who broke the news and direct messaged him with a long paragraph saying, "I am not Carr." But to a detective like myself, that is exactly what Carr would say if he didn't want you to think it was Carr. So I'll let you decide if that was really a Carr burner account, because it's time we jump to the sport that popularized players being an incognito part of the fan base. Now, the NBA is the most widely known league for this phenomenon, but I don't just want to talk about players, because probably the biggest burner account scandal ever to date involved Philadelphia 76ers general manager, Brian Colangelo, who was caught with his hand in 5 different cookie jars, having 5 burner accounts exposed for being his. 5! That is so many accounts to keep track of, to switch back and forth between all that. You gotta keep notes, you're building a TV show. Now, this one started when someone gave an anonymous tip to The Ringer, a sports publication service. They said that there were multiple suspiciously similar accounts that were very adamantly discussing the 76ers manager, Brian Colangelo and his moves within the franchise. Even further than just this, these accounts were also noted giving away some oddly specific, detailed information about players and game plans. They were also very critical of the team, calling out players plainly for being not good at basketball. To anyone reading, it would seem like a random person spewing nonsense, because no one in the public would know this type of stuff, and some of it was just silly. But no, that was the man in charge of the Philadelphia 76ers business and financial operations making those tweets. Instead of blow it open immediately, the Ringer was smart about this, and they stayed monitoring the accounts for a while to sort of gather information. Only then did they bring the hammer down and expose everything. Now, of course, Colangelo denied it all, saying he had one account and he never posted on it before. It's a load of hooey. Why believe this random report? But there was a little more smoking gun with this one. You see, all 5 of the accounts had a very specific and particular array of people who they followed. It was an arrangement unique to the life of Brian Colangelo. Furthermore, a couple of the accounts were created with the same phone number as Colangelo's personal social media accounts that he openly had. Just a couple weeks after the initial reports had dropped, NBA social media had gone wild with the topic, and it was too far gone. Colangelo's wife ended up coming out and taking credibility for the accounts, but that was a foil not many believed, and just 8 days after the Ringer released the initial report, Brian Colangelo resigned from the 76ers. A burner account scandal had brought down the general manager of an NBA team. A multi-millionaire risked his once-in-a-lifetime job so he could trash Joel Embiid and Markelle Fultz on Twitter, and I don't know, I find that glorifying. Of course, this scandal probably never happens, and you or I may not even know what a burner account is if it weren't for our next case. When you think of burner accounts, you think of Kevin Durant. I mean, there's an odd amount of pictures with this guy on his phone texting, but a lot of people don't know the actual full story behind everything. In 2017, try and reset your mind to Kevin Durant being the most hated person on planet Earth. Maybe not that bad, but this was still pretty fresh in the KD to Golden State saga, and everyone online loved to hate Kevin Durant. That same year, Durant, from his main verified Twitter account, replied to some people talking trash about him. These replies were clearly referring to Kevin Durant from the third person, even though it was him making them, and it doesn't take an expert to conclude that KD meant to tweet these from a way different account from his own, proving to everyone in an embarrassing way that he is active on burner accounts. I mean, the real Kevin Durant said his roster wasn't that good, it was just him and Russ. It's like, that's awesome. But the main theme with Kevin Durant's burners wasn't as problematic. A majority of the time, he was just discussing himself and other NBA issues as a whole. Nothing really made him look too bad. If there was any doubt, though, KD was honest about the situation, admitting his mess up and admitting that he runs burner accounts, and it just turned into a joke more than anything. He's already come out and taunted people to find his burner account on the brand new Threads app. Like, he's feeding into it, which is good. It saved face for him a little. But just the fact that general managers and players alike could be literally arguing with each other on different burner accounts and have no idea. NBA media is a great place. But what's even better than that is their argument could be joined by another third-party account that happens to be the man reffing the games. Alright, now there's a lot of people talking about Kevin Durant out there, and there's a good amount who like to discuss 76ers basketball too. So those places you can hide in plain sight pretty easily, but how many people do you realistically think are defending NBA referees on Twitter with everything they have? Well, there was gonna be at least one for referee Eric Lewis, even if he had to be the one running it. An account by the name Cutliff Blair was the culprit, and It was noticed by some NBA fans. Suspiciously, this account seemed to go to bat for Eric Lewis, defending him tooth and nail after he would receive any hate. Of course, as it goes, the news articles dropped and the account disappeared, being deleted simultaneously as the story broke. The NBA announced that they were launching a full investigation into the matter, which makes it sound dramatic. Ooh, an NBA investigation, but I mean, they're reading old tweets and maybe looking at an email or IP. It's not complex stuff, there's not much to do. But Eric Lewis, like any innocent man would, saw no need for an investigation, so he retired from the sport entirely. And poof, investigation over. Burner accounts have taken their toll on the NBA, even if they are relatively new. Now, this one was pretty funny because Eric Lewis, as a ref, seemed to have a disdain towards the Lakers and hated their fans, but more importantly, may in fact be a Celtics fan. And of course, NBA social media loved that. He was never seen as a top ref, anyways, but just knowing the referees can be hopping on social media and seeing what everyone says about them is such a weird perspective to have. Now, there's been plenty more guys accused and maybe proven of having burner accounts. This list could go on for a while, and I don't blame athletes for it. If you had that many people talking about you and your choices, I feel like it's human nature to want to chirp in yourself. It happens, and as with any weird sports thing, if it happens, I'll make a video on it. Let me know what you guys want to see next, and I'll see you guys next week. Or I could see you right now in this video. This is a good one. This is a good one.